right.
Okay.
So we thought it would be fun to do a Zoom that was focused on 4th of July and some ideas for healthy recipes and just some good tips and reminders of some things that are really helpful for this time of year as we're getting in closer to now it officially feels like summer. So our goal is to try to bring different information and topics to you all every Monday night. And I know it's summer, so it is a little bit harder for people to get on, but we appreciate your commitment, and that's why we like to do occasional giveaways and just some additional ways to help make it exciting that you can come and learn with us and invite people. That's a big part of this too, is we want to be able to reach more people and impact others. So please always think of who you can invite for whatever the topic may be that might interest someone. So just looking at some ideas of if maybe you are going somewhere for 4th of July, maybe you're not, but some fun recipe ideas that you could use for, just displaying things differently to make it look kind of fun for 4th of July. So here's some ideas using fruit, and you could substitute them using some vegetables, but just kind of putting things in different patterns. I've also done one similar to this with like doing a row of crackers, and then you have cheese, and then you have a fruit. So just still shaping it in like a flag, which makes it kind of fun and festive. So again, just a cute idea for being able to give you some options for a great thing to bring somewhere, or like I said, even just to have something at home that maybe you want to have that looks kind of fun. So looking at some platter options, there you go. And this is a smoothie bowl. If you're not familiar with smoothie bowls, this is an excellent way to mix things up for an option beyond just a smoothie. So feel free to screenshot these if you see something you might want to use or try out. So a smoothie bowl, you can combine lots of different fruits in here. But the great thing about it is still has the base of protein. So it's a really great balanced meal because of the combination of what that protein will bring to it using our life shakes. So the life shakes are what allows this to be a complete meal replacement. So you actually have a great ratio of everything you need here to make this a really sustainable meal option and just something different. So again, if you look at the pattern, you can definitely, make it kind of fun and a little bit festive. So this would even be a great one for kids as an option for a breakfast idea. So that would be a smoothie bowl. So again, we're starting out right away here with some recipes, and thanks, Sarah, for also sharing some of these. This is a patriotic smoothie. So we love smoothie recipes. We just finished a smoothie workshop, and we're always looking for ways to add some variety, and this is a fun way to do it by mixing up your colors. So you can actually put them together and create color patterns just by mixing up different colors with your protein options. So again, just another fun way to be able to give some options, and topping it with, some red strawberries or some blueberries on top, just again, makes it feel a little bit different than just having your traditional smoothie. So yogurt also really helps to make this a little thicker. I have actually done this before in the past, and it turned out really good. And I will say though, I had to use not the small ball jar, but you got to use more of the 8-ounce size because it doesn't fit in those smaller ones. So just note, you do need to have a little bit bigger size jar for these, but very, again, cute idea for giving some options for 4th of July. And here's another one. We always love giving variations too of, things that we find that are pretty simple. And I think that this time of year, most people tend to steer towards more cold foods. And that's why we're sharing smoothies and smoothie bowls, and salads are excellent for summertime, right? We now have, luckily enough, some fruits and vegetables that are now readily available. So a watermelon feta salad. This is very, very simple to make. And if you look at the ingredients on there, there's really not a whole lot. And again, I don't think there's not a person out there that could not make this. And it will probably take you about 5 minutes to put together. So very, very simple, but love the colors. You can see it's got the red, the white, and the blue in there. So again, another great 4th of July option if you're looking for some recipes. And these are also kind of fun, right? Because they're not just for right now, but we could also use these, later on. So all right, so again, we hope you kind of like the recipes, and just to give you some ideas, we also want to be thinking about here, as we are saying here, that it's starting to heat up big time. So sunscreen, we all know we should wear it, but a lot of people don't know what sunscreens to be using. And it's really, really important that you do know that not all sunscreens are the same. We do want to be careful of the chemicals that are in there, but also the fact that for people that have very sensitive skin, using something like a zinc oxide based, which is the one on the left there, that Youth Age Defense Mineral Moisturizer is a zinc oxide based sunscreen, which is excellent for people that are very sensitive. So if you tend to burn easy, maybe you've been burned a lot in the past, you need to have something that's going to give you a little more coverage, but without irritating your skin. And that's where using a zinc oxide versus a chemical base is a really great thing to know, because the sun is hot and you need to make sure you are staying covered and protected, and that you are using a broad spectrum. It has the A and the B protection, and both of these options do. So if you're looking for something that definitely works well, but gives you some options, these are great to know about. Neither one of them have a strong smell, and they also absorb very easily into your skin, which a lot of people that use zinc oxide, you know that when you put it on, you look like a ghost because it just sits on your skin. But this is actually combined with minerals, so it will be absorbed quickly and it doesn't sit on your skin. It's more like a lotion. Same thing with the SPF, the 30 over here. This is great for all over body, and this is what we use for our kids. But for the face, I really do like this Youth on the left there, just because it is, like I said, proven to be great for your skin, in particular on your face. Your face gets by far the most exposure along with your arms than anything else. So having something that's a little more protective on your face especially is a great idea. So this is just a habit. I tend to put that on every morning and I really don't even think about it. So it just is something we want to be aware of here as we're, like I said, finally heading into warm weather. Hooray! So something else we want to be really, again, cautious of, and I was hitting this morning with our class already, at 6 a.m. It's like, you know what? We've got to be focusing on hydration. As soon as the 90-degree weather hits, we can't wait until we're thirsty to start to drink water. And we also need to know that this is a prime time when we even need more things like electrolytes. If you guys follow me on Facebook, I just commented earlier on, I mowed the lawn and I was sweating more than I think I've ever sweated, and it looked like I ran a marathon. Judy, I think you're walking right now, so you can probably relate, even if you're indoors. You sweat. Yes, and it's great. We need to exercise and we need to sweat, but we also need to replace those minerals, or else we're going to notice we're really tired. We're going to notice that we start to get maybe a slight headache. It can even affect your immune system. So we really need to make sure we are drinking now more than ever and looking at options for hydration. Now that Hydrate Plus is what we are big fans of. It comes in orange or lemon lime. And yes, there is sugar in it. But if you look at what else is in there, it has the perfect balance of what we need for electrolytes. So if you look at a lot of your Gatorades and Powerades, they always mention to people that many of your store brand supplements out there generally only have about 4 of your electrolytes, where this Hydrate actually has all 6. And that's why it can actually make the claims that's been clinically proven that this Hydrate Plus hydrates better than water. And it has both your simple and your complex carbohydrates. So a lot of times when people are looking for electrolytes, that's all they focus on, but they don't actually know where they're coming from. And calcium and magnesium are 2 electrolytes that a lot of times get skipped because they're more expensive. Okay, so people would rather use a highly processed form because it's cheaper and it's going to not act the same as your body as something natural. Just like we were talking with a sunscreen, that if we're using something that has a chemical base to it, somebody that's very sensitive is going to react to that. Same thing with something like using a Gatorade with a lot of artificial ingredients and additives and how it's processed. So, and something else that's in sports drinks that is very common that not a lot of people have heard of is actually called BVO. And those are the initials you'll see on the label, but it's an emulsifier that prevents the flavor from separating and floating to the surface. So if you notice a lot of your sports drinks, they always look like they're mixed up perfectly. And that's because a lot of times there's something that's been put in there as an emulsifier. So you'll even notice if we use something like a Hydrate Plus, that is excellent to make in popsicles. But for example, if your popsicles are the kind where you make them and you pour in your liquid, that at the bottom, a lot of times you'll notice it's a little bit stronger at the bottom because it doesn't have something to emulsify it. So, but that's a good thing. We don't need that. So it's a matter of finding the right things that we can use without these added chemicals. And I will tell you guys a really quick note. I can't remember the brand of them, but if you Google on Amazon, popsicle holders, I bought a whole bunch of these plastic sleeves that are like the good old freeze pops. and you mix up the Hydrate Plus and water. And if you put them in your freezer, I put them in actually a gallon bag, and you lay them flat, the flavor stays dispersed amongst the whole thing, which is kind of a great tip, because for the longest time, whenever our kids would eat the popsicles, they like the end, and then as they get towards the, the bottom, yeah, it's just more like water. So good thing to note there. But again, focusing on hydration. All right, guys, we have a small group here, so we're still going to do giveaways here. So Judy and Jackie, I'm going to unmute you guys here really fast, and Diana, so I'm unmuting you all. All right, Judy, you might have to unmute yourself. There you go, you got it. Okay, guys, so I'm going to ask a question here, and this is going to be for our energy pack. And then Sarah's actually going to put the other two into a drawing for our sunscreen. So we're going to ask you guys, if you look at all the fruits that are out there that are readily available to us here in the US, now there's a lot of exotic fruits like goji berries and things that we probably don't eat very often. But besides the most common fruits like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and cranberries, those are most of the fruits that we think of that have antioxidants, and those are kind of all tied for first place. What do you guys think is the second fruit, if we look at not a berry option, that has the most antioxidants? This is great to know for summertime. So any guesses, guys? You get an energy pack, whoever guesses correctly. I'll give you hints if you don't get it. Guess a fruit, guys. Guess a fruit.
Kiwi.
Kiwi. Good guess? Nope, but I'll tell you this fruit is round.
Muskmelon?
No, that's a good guess too. No, but that's a little too big. Go a little smaller. This is actually one that surprises people a lot, because you don't usually, when you hear antioxidants, think of this fruit.
Oranges?
No, you're getting close though. It's about the same size as an orange.
Mango?
Nope, not a mango.
Grapefruit?
Nope, it does have seeds in the middle.
Pomegranate? Apple?
Apple! You got it. Pomegranate was a good guess too. Good job, Jackie. You win our energy pack. Woohoo!
Awesome.
Yes. So that's a great tip, guys, for, as we usually think of apples as only during the fall, but apples are actually readily available now too. So incorporating apples in some of those very first fruit platters I showed you, we're looking at 4th of July ideas. That's a great thing to incorporate. So apples are a very high source of antioxidants. And again, I just don't think people know that. So there's a little fun fact of the day. So here's another great idea for summertime. As we're trying to be, out and about, and we're busier, we don't necessarily always have the healthiest meals available. I just firmly believe that having quick options now is just a staple, and to have something that really does build your health, this is the perfect thing to keep on hand. And yes, we can use it like that smoothie bowl. We can make them into protein balls. We can do other things with it. But just as an option for a quick meal on the go, we absolutely want to highlight here your Life Shake. So this is something that I think, from a nutritional standpoint, I remember the very first time I saw, when I went to one of our conventions where they have the scientists talking about the protein powders, and they put on the screen everything you'd have to eat in your breakfast to get was equivalent to one of these shakes. And I thought, that is pretty interesting. And then the scientist who, he was amazing. He had so much knowledge, but he actually stated, and it is quoted in several of our clinical studies, they talk about this, that this is actually the healthiest meal on the planet. So if you put that into context of coming from someone that is a top-notch scientist, that made me feel pretty good that this is an option we can all easily add into our diet and know that what we're getting is a perfect source for building health. So wanted to quickly highlight that as a option for summer. And one more here, and not just summer, but 4th of July. We also are huge fans of, snack bars. All right. So on-the-go snacks, guys, are just so important. And I know there's a lot of bars out there. And if you go to the store, you will see so many options. It's almost difficult to know even what to look at or what to buy. So just to simplify things, you want to make sure that your meal bars have some fiber in them, so they're going to fill you up a little bit. Ideally, you always want to see your sugars to be just like cereal. We want them to be under 10 grams for sure. And I don't care if it's good sugar, bad sugar, your sugar content should be underneath 10 grams. Otherwise, it's probably going to cause your blood sugar to spike. And if you're looking at overall the ingredients, we shouldn't see the number one ingredient is sugar. Almost every bar that somebody brings me, when I look at the label, within the first 3 ingredients, there's 1 or 2 forms of sugar. So as a snack, guys, that's not ideally what we want in between our meals. And actually, it's not what we need anytime. So we're trying to keep something that, again, is a perfect balance of those main nutrients, our macronutrients, and trying to fill our bodies with the right balance of those carbs, fats, and proteins is key. So bars, guys, we are huge fans of these little snack bars. This one's coconut chocolate. There's peanut butter, there's cherry almond, and there's toffee chocolate. And they are just an excellent thing to keep in your car, keep them in your purse when we go for a long run. We'll keep them in our pocket and eat half one. It's just a great, and you will notice how it really does work to fill you up a little bit. And I think it's also that right ratio of protein. So this has 9 grams in it. And I know a lot of like your Cliff bars, for example, they can have 15 to 20 grams. So people think more protein, the better. But what are you using it for? Most of the times, these are supposed to be a snack, not a meal. Okay, so that's where you want to know what that ratio means and how it's going to be equivalent to what you're using it for. So again, you're looking for quick options. I encourage you to keep something like this on hand at all times, guys. And it's so true how I remember, people emphasizing how we should make sure that we eat before we go to the grocery store. And it's true. You don't want to go somewhere hungry. So if you even have a bar in your car and you eat this before you're even going to go to a picnic, you'll be amazed at how much less you eat. So a lot of this is just preparation and getting in our right mindset of being prepared. So as we're heading into 4th of July, I know it's a little different as far as, some people are going and doing large group gatherings or not. But even if we're just making things for ourselves, keep health as a priority. And we're not saying that you can't splurge a little bit and you can't go out there and, have your treats now and then. That's fine. But it's what you're doing majority of the time. And I think that when we lead into July and August, we're setting ourselves up for what's going to happen in the fall. So think of that as you're making your choices, right? And if you're somebody that really, for example, loves, to have a glass of wine, you know what? That's okay. But are you doing it every day? If you really love chocolate, are you doing it every day? We have to learn that moderation. And you also need to know your personality, guys. Throughout the years, working with people, I have found there are some people that are so, once they even have a bite of something, they can't stop. And it's kind of like an addiction, right? When people smoke, it's very hard for them to stop once they've, continued to get used to that feeling that it brings. So if you're that type of personality, it's kind of like an alcoholic. You can't just have a sip. So if you are to that point where you just can't have a little bit, then avoid it. All right. You just shouldn't have it then. And I know that for some people might kind of be like, oh, that's pretty tough. But I have definitely found throughout the years that seems to be the best tactic for certain personalities. So it's just good to kind of know, where you're at and what you can do to kind of help give some health building ideas for yourself as we're leading into here, summer and also in the fall. So, all right, guys, any questions or anything you would like to add for some 4th of July tips? We are ending right at 20 minutes and I'm going to have Sarah tell us who the winner is for sunscreen here. So you guys are all muted, so just a heads up. All right, I'm going to unmute you all. And Sarah is going to announce our winner. She's got her bowl with a small.
That's my dinner.
Oh, I was thinking, Sarah, there's only really, I'm like, how big are your pieces of paper?
No, I didn't want to be on video shoving my face full of food.
Hey, that's great.
I have the names in here, so I'm going to take them up.
All right.
So this is for the sunscreen, and I will say we were at Millennium Park all day, and I know where I didn't put my sunscreen.
So it worked.
It worked very well. My face is great. Most of my legs great. I couldn't really get some here, but
yeah, that's
okay. So I have Judy, Jackie, and whoever Taekwondo is.
It's Diane. Yep.
Diane. All right. So I'm gonna shake and pick one. Judy.
Drum roll. Judy's the winner. Woohoo! Congratulations, Judy. Don't fall off. Don't fall off your treadmill.
Oh,
Yeah, great job. All right, then Jackie will get you your energy pack. And yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. We hope it was helpful and that you learned a few things. And we did record this, so feel free to